In this video, I'm going to share with you how to start a spiritual coaching business. And you might be surprised that it's not very different from starting any other kind of coaching business. I often get the question from clients that, how do I start a spiritual coaching business? And they think that because they want to be a spiritual mentor, it's somehow very different from other types of coaching. It's not that different from any other type of coaching business. In general, what we always want to do is start to build a brand of credibility and trust and start to gather the people that we want to work with into some sort of community. Then it makes it much easier when we introduce offerings, programs, services. There's a ready-made community of people who will raise their hands and opt in. What's really hard in coaching in general, and especially in spiritual coaching, is getting someone from cold who doesn't know you at all to immediately register and sign up to work with you. And in fact, that type of sales process in marketing that goes straight to a sale and that's pushy tends to turn people off when it comes to spiritual coaching. So my advice is start to build the brand first, and then from that brand of credibility and trust, start to introduce packages and programs into your community. Let me share with you a little bit more about what that looks like. So when I say brand, what I'm talking about really is positioning. And positioning boils down to a couple of things. The first, it's the people that you work with, the ideal audience, the avatar of the perfect client. That's the first part of positioning. And the second part of positioning is the promise. What is the value proposition? What is it that you deliver? In the world of spiritual coaching, what you're delivering is something huge, something very big. And I feel the need to share that and remind you of that because a problem that I come across with a lot of spiritual coaches and mentors is that they have this belief that because what they offer is spiritual, they shouldn't charge for it, or they shouldn't charge a lot for it, that they should either give it away for free or charge very little. There's kind of this guilt complex that goes along with a lot of spiritual mentoring and coaching. And what I want to invite you to consider is that this is the most important work that you can do with somebody. The spiritual coaching is the kind of thing that can heal old, deep wounds. You can help somebody expand into a bigger version of themselves. You can help somebody tap into a higher purpose, a divine purpose even. You can help somebody clarify and deepen their values and their connection to their family, to their community, to the earth. Spiritual coaching is the kind of work that has the biggest and most important outcomes in life. And so why shouldn't you be compensated richly for that? Why wouldn't the universe or God want you to be able to make an abundant living doing this amazing work? So if you run into any problems around that, please remember that the work you're doing is important, powerful, and you deserve to be richly rewarded for it. And another big important part of branding is what I call your red sole. Your red sole, I named it after Christian Louboutin shoes that have the red bottom on the shoes. The red bottom on those shoes makes Christian Louboutin stand out. It makes them recognizable, and it makes them highly valuable in the eyes of their audience. Your red soul is that unique way that you generate results. It's that unique way that you do your spiritual coaching. It's that unique blend of, let's call it Buddhism or Christianity or Judaism or whatever the mix of things, or quantum physics or law of attraction, right? That unique blend of those things that you've discovered through your life and now you're helping others with, you can codify that, turn it into a signature system, and that can be your unique special sauce. And that red soul is what gives you the opportunity to be different from everybody else and to charge more, just like Christian Louboutin charges more for their shoes. So remember, branding is all about positioning, who you're focusing on, who your audience is, that value proposition that you provide to that audience, and that unique way that you provide that value proposition. Another thing that I highly recommend if you're starting a spiritual coaching practice is to gather your people, to gather a community of your people who are like-minded, who share your values, who are interested in what you're providing, and create some sort of what I call a percolator program that they can come into. A percolator is an easy yes. It's an easy thing for people to say yes to. Maybe it's a free Sunday service or a low price point workshop or seminar. It's something entry level that can gather people to you and keep them nearby so that when they're ready to pop up or percolate up into something higher, you're the person that they think about. And of course, every coach, even every spiritual coach, needs a body, a suite of offerings. Now, the obvious offerings are things like one-on-one coaching and maybe even retreats or group coaching experiences. But less obvious than that are also ceremonies and rituals you can perform with people. Once people are in that percolator group, once they're looking to you for guidance, once they trust you and like you and are in your world, then you can introduce things like wedding ceremonies, blessing ways when a woman is giving birth to a baby, going from maiden to mother. You can provide ceremonies and rituals to mark transitions in different stages of life. These are really important and beautiful things that we used to do for thousands of years, right? And that have kind of gotten lost as religion and organized religion has started to fall away. I know that there are still plenty of communities that have ritual and ceremony, but there are also a lot of people out there that don't have an organized religion that would really benefit from having these types of community ceremonies being witnessed in the big important transitions in their lives. That's something that you could provide as a spiritual coach. So my recommendation, however, my absolute favorite model for any kind of coach, and especially for spiritual coaches, is a retreat into mastery model. Now, what that means is that you offer some sort of compressed big outcome in a short amount of time. Retreats are my absolute favorite way to do that. So let's say a 3-day deep dive immersive experience into having some sort of breakthrough. And then from that breakthrough, inviting people to step into a longer mastery journey. And then from that mastery journey, inviting the people who are really loving what you do, who are really devoted to the practices, inviting them up into some sort of leadership opportunity. Maybe even an ordination or some sort of ritual or ceremony to graduate them into leadership in your community. And before I get into the last piece about how to offer and sell your spiritual coaching services, I invite you to ask any questions you might have or share any comments in the comments below, and I will do my best to answer them right away. Finally, unlike other coaching services, which you can see people offering coaching packages and events through online funnels with click to buy and click to upsell and email marketing, in the world of spiritual coaching, I think it's more important than almost anywhere else to really have your sales process, your marketing strategy lead to having one-on-one conversations with people. I think it's really important to check to make sure there's an alignment of values and beliefs before you start working with someone. So I'm a big advocate and believer in having meaningful conversations or strategy sessions or discovery calls or whatever you might want to call them, but essentially an opportunity for you and your potential client to connect one-on-one. So even though my practice is business, there is an energetic and spiritual component to it. And I will not work with a client that I have not had a conversation with. Let me tell you something, that has served me really, really well, because the old business that I had and the old version of me used to sell every which way, no matter what. And what I found is by having that meaningful conversation, I can make sure that it's a right fit, and I set us both up for greater success. If this video resonated with you and you like the idea of building a spiritual coaching practice, I can help. Go ahead and set up a discovery call with me. It's free, and you can do that at superstaractivator.com/go. And you and I will have a meaningful conversation about how to create and build and grow your spiritual coaching practice.